Welcome to Therapy Unplugged, the podcast where two therapists offer insights to the real-life issues we all experience. We are your hosts, Sarah Benoit and Meaghan McCullough.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back. It is Meaghan here. And today I'm going to be delving a bit deeper into the full episode that Sarah and I did recently on cultivating more play, cultivating more creativity in your life as a way to balance out our very busy lives of work and production. So, in this bonus episode, I'll share some ideas about how you can explore ways to bring more play into your life that resonate specifically with you. So, in our full episode, Sarah discussed Dr. Stuart Brown. He's a researcher and the founder of the National Institute of Play. Brown identifies 8 categories of play that he called play personalities. And while you certainly don't need to be experts in these categories to play, I thought it might be helpful to explore them more now as a way to give you pointers or guidance in coming up with your own ideas of play that align with you. So I'm going to go through the categories again. And as I go through these categories, pay attention to the following questions. And as you pay attention, feel free to pause the recording and jot down any notes if that helps. So with each personality category, ask yourself these questions. Does this type of play resonate with me? Do I already include this type of play in my life if it does resonate? If I don't already include it and it resonates with me, is it something I would like to explore now, or is it something I'd prefer to pass on? So it's perfectly okay to be drawn to some of these personalities and not to others. I know for me, I'm certainly drawn to some, and then there's others that I'm not interested in at all. And so the rule of thumb for this exercise is to narrow down a personality that you align with and that you are not currently exploring in your own life. Then you can make a commitment to choose one activity or hobby that would fall under this category. Okay, so ready to begin? We are going to start with the personality number 1, which was the collector. So the collector is someone that finds joy and meaning out of collecting certain things. You know, later after we had done the full episode, I was thinking about a previous client of mine that had pretty severe depression. And he always impressed me because he had so many tools in his back pocket for decreasing his depression. And one of the tools that he used was a collection of old record albums. So he loved music, and he grew an incredibly extensive and varied collection of albums. He got himself a player and a record player. It's been so long, I couldn't think of the name. He got himself a record player, and he listens to his albums whenever he's feeling that sense of depression coming on. So that's a really powerful example of the collector. And so in this case, you would want to stop and, again, go back to those questions. Does this resonate with me? If it doesn't at all, if collecting things does not resonate with you at all, I certainly wouldn't suggest you try to force yourself to do it. But if it does resonate with you, think about a collection that you may want to put some time and effort into. Okay, so the second play personality is the competitor. And think about, are you someone who thrives on winning, who thrives on being challenged with other players? So you might think game night with friends or family. You might think about, do you enjoy going to trivia on a Thursday night at your local bar? Does the thought of playing others competitively bring you a sense of joy or fun? If so, you could very well fall under this category. And if you are not already engaging in activities that have that kind of level of competition, you may want to think about adding that into your life. The third play personality is the artist, or sometimes it's also called the creator. So, do you find joy in making things? When I think of the artist and creator, I immediately think of my husband. He is amazing at creating, whether we're talking about watercolors, whether we're talking about sketches, whether we're talking about working with wood, um, uh, just creating landscaping outside. He feels best when he is making something. So, does this resonate with you at all? Is there an artist within you that's really yearning to come out? And by the way, you don't have to be a good artist, right? Don't let that stop you. If you've always been drawn to sketching, but you don't do it because you fear that, you need to be an expert at that, really try to let that go. That idea that I need to be good at this. This is not about being good. Play and creativity really is about the sake of play and creativity, not necessarily, we're not really trying to focus on the outcome or the finished product. The next play personality is, Stuart Brown calls it the director. And this is someone that really enjoys planning or hosting or leading things, right? So, do you get enjoyment, for example, from planning and hosting a party? Um, do you enjoy putting together like a book club, right? I mean, it really could be anything, but the idea is that it's, I would call it a leadership role in some ways. Um, and if if this idea of planning and hosting resonates with you, maybe you could think about some ways that you may want to implement that into your life. The next play personality is the explorer. Now, this one definitely resonates with me. The explorer finds joy and play and fun in the idea of discovering something new. So, this could be travel, right? It could be traveling to some new destination. Um, it might be just learning something new, like picking up a new language, for example, and spending time learning that. I think there's a limitless list here of ideas that the explorer might wish to engage in. And again, the idea is that if it resonates with you, um, start thinking about something that you would like to learn or someplace you may want to go. Perhaps you want to take a new class at your local gym, and learn kickboxing or, uh, there's again, it's the list is endless, but the idea is if this resonates with you, spend some time with it. Okay, we are down to our last three. The next play personality is the Joker. So, do you find it fun just to be silly and foolish, literally for the sake of being silly and foolish? When I thought about this, I immediately, for any of Office fans out there, the TV show The Office, I immediately thought of Jim. Right? So Jim found a lot of joy, for example, in pranking Dwight. Jim was always kind of lighthearted about situations in the office that maybe others were not. So does this resonate with you? Another another TV show actually that I thought of with regard to the Joker is Seinfeld. Man, you watch some of those old Seinfeld episodes, and it was just a whole to do about nothing, right? Um, Yet it was, to a lot of people anyway, very, very funny. Just the whole foolishness of the characters and the situations that they would get themselves in. So, does that resonate with you? And if it does, how could you just bring more silly into your life? Okay, so the next one is the kinesthetic, and I do not know if I'm pronouncing that right. But basically, and it's funny that I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right because this is the one that resonates with me the most. So this is someone that really gets a lot of joy and really can feel that rush of dopamine by moving their body. So again, you can do this in a million different ways. I think the key here is to find movement, to find exercise that you truly enjoy, right? So I know Sarah and I had talked in the full episode about running. And Sarah had come to the conclusion, even though she was running all the time during lunch at work, she actually hated it. And so for Sarah, right, like running should be cut off the list. Um, but I bet you if you ask Sarah if she enjoys playing frisbee with her dog, she would say absolutely, right? So so moving your body can happen in so many different ways. And I know for me, the older I get, it has become the number one way that I can immediately bring an uplift to my mood. So, does that resonate with you? If so, how can you bring more movement into your body? And last but not least is the storyteller. So, the storyteller is someone that finds joy in listening to or creating and narrating stories. I immediately think of my mother when I think of the storyteller because she is often very animated and joyful when she's telling stories, when she's, maybe telling silly stories about her past, for example, or just things that happen to her day to day that she finds funny. Um, she is at her best when she's telling stories. So, does this resonate with you? If so, how could you start to implement more storytelling into your life? Okay, listeners, that is it. I hope this was helpful just to dive a little bit deeper into these different personalities. And I hope it gives you ideas of how you can start to use these play personalities as ways to generate ideas for your own sense of play and balancing out again all of the tasks, all of the work, all of the production that we are doing in our lives. It really is about balance. So thank you very much for listening and take good care.
If you want to share your thoughts or ideas with us, you can email us at therapyunpluggedpodcast@proton.me. Until next time, be sure to subscribe to Therapy Unplugged on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere you get your podcasts.